Celebration and Remembrance Day. CBN fines 9 banks 1.35 billion naira for failing to dispense cash via ATMs. And later on the show, fuel marketers shift to Dangote refinery as petrol depot price hits 950 naira per litre. I'll be hanging out with Paul, Dada and Asukwo James. Journalist Hangout starts right now. Now let's begin the conversation. Another moment is upon us as a country to honor our fallen heroes. As Nigeria marks the 2025 Armed Forces Celebration and Remembrance Day, Vice President Shettima led other senior government officials to lay wreath at the cenotaph in Abuja in commemoration of this year's event. The Vice President represented President Bola Tinubu as the special guest of honor at the National Arcade Abuja venue of the activities marking the celebration. The country's leaders were unanimous in commending the selfless sacrifices of the military in defending Nigeria. All right, Asukwo James, it's always a sober reflection, always when you think about all of the supreme sacrifices, by the armed forces to keep us together. But can we say that the Nigerian armed forces, also the fallen heroes, are they celebrated enough?
Well, it depends on the kind of celebration you want, because even outside, this is almost similar to what we are currently doing. Although ours is more ceremonial, whereby government officials will have to, start going to maybe big places, check, do the parade, go on salute, and all that. But the central thing is that we are celebrating them, for their sacrifices, and the little celebration that we are doing is not enough. Yeah, it's not enough because I'm saying this because of the challenges that most of them are facing.
Okay.
So if you want to celebrate somebody, make sure that you celebrate the person entirely.
Entirely?
Yes. Entirely in the sense that if after sacrificing that much, the person should not be regretting
the sacrifice.
Okay. Okay. Because if people, because I've seen a lot of servicemen who serve this country, and at the end of the day, some of them will be regretting. And it doesn't speak well. So the only thing that they always remember, sometimes some of them will say, there's nothing, so why am I celebrating? We shouldn't get to that level whereby those who have paid, who have done so much for the country. When I mean servicemen, I mean soldiers, both women and men, who have gone through war. Some of them going through depression, some anxiety,
post-traumatic, PTSD,
stress, disorder, and nothing, absolutely nothing is done to assist them, And sometimes some of them will still be begging for pension, and nobody is thinking about their welfare, So, but be that as it may, it is a good thing that every January 15th, they have a day to always remind our government that apart from the First World War, Second World War, as well as the Civil War,
the Biafra War.
The Nigerian Civil War, other things need to be attached to this celebration, and which is their welfare and how to keep them together,
Okay, Paul Dada, the Armed Forces Remembrance Day and the heroism of those who paid the ultimate sacrifice. Now, what effort, in your opinion, is the Army doing to appreciate not just the fallen heroes, the living, to make them feel appreciated, and also for those who have actually paid the supreme price?
Very good.
The supreme sacrifice.
A very, very good question. You know, very often we criticize our military sometimes when they are overrun by the bandits, and sometimes we say, okay, maybe lack of intelligence or acting on intelligence and all of that. But I think that we also need to understand as a nation, as people living in this country, that these ones are making lots of sacrifices. Last season, during last festivities, a lot of Nigerians were enjoying themselves, but many of these people were on duty.
Come in the bush.
Exactly. I think that we ceremonial remembrance of their efforts is not enough. I think the authorities can do better, you know, in making sure that they are properly taken care of. There are some things I don't want to say here personally, because I know of a soldier who was complaining, so still in active duty, was complaining of certain things I don't want to mention on her. But I think we can do better. Sometimes it's not even at the level of the Chief of Defense Staff or the Chief of Army Staff. Sometimes there are people who are below the office, those I've mentioned now, who seem to frustrate the effort of those at the top.
Okay.
You know, when it comes to the welfare of the soldiers. I don't want to say everything on my mind because there are some reasons why I don't want to say it, but I've heard complaints, you know. I think we need to celebrate our soldiers more. We need to appreciate them. But those who are falling, let's also remember that when these soldiers have families, you know, when they go to war, they are not the only courageous people. Even their spouses are courageous. For you to release your husband or release your wife,
to go and go fight. Exactly.
So when they fall on the battlefield, we should make sure that we take care of the widows or the father, those who are not fat, the children, whoever is associated with them. Maybe some of them, they have aged mothers, parents that we have to take care of. So there's a way the narrative can change. Again, like I said, there are some things I don't want to say on here. And also, we need to think also about their psychological welfare. I was watching someone today, a video clip of a man who fought in the Civil War. He talked about the fact that one of his colleagues, who was even planning to get married, lost his 2 legs, you know. And he was even telling, please shoot me. Shoot me. So no, I can't shoot you. Then he committed suicide. A friend of mine who sees SABS told me that sometimes when you see a soldier step on a landmine, on a mine, it's worse than being shot, because you get torn into pieces. And you watching that, I mean, your friend, your colleague that you served together, you probably feasted together and all of that. And then last night you were together. Only now, the next day,
it's in pieces.
And you see that, it affects you.
True.
So it's not, we need to take the holistic welfare. There must be must pay attention to the holistic welfare of these soldiers.
Now, when we say armed forces, not just the Nigerian Army, the Nigerian Air Force, you know, the Navy. The police also should also be part of it. But let's bring it to 54 years ago, after the Civil War. You know, the former head of state, retired General Yakubu Jagowon, you know, they came up with these 3 R's: reconciliation, rehabilitation, and reconstruction. Just to keep this country together, go with one Nigeria. Are we still meeting that obligation 54 years after, January 5th?
Well, we are if we talk about the military, I think the military hierarchy have been able to keep that, you know, being united to themselves, as in, because if, for instance, the military is not united, I'm not sure this country will be at peace.
Yeah.
It is because there's that unity in the military, that is why Nigeria is at peace. And that is why they don't bring ethnicity, they don't bring tribalism into the military. Oh. You understand?
Yeah.
Because if not, would have been in trouble. We would have been in serious trouble. No matter what, I think it was either the former chief of defense staff that was saying something about that, you know. We shouldn't bring tribalism, we shouldn't bring anything that, you know, will disunite the military in any way. If you are Igbo, you are Igbo. If you are Hausa, you are Hausa. If you are Akpabio, you are Akpabio. But let that be in your house. But because they are going to battlefield.
True.
When once you start to inculcate that attitude of, I am from this place, into the military, they can never be unity. And when they are fighting a battle, you know, it's just like going to the battle. If you go to a battle as a disunited force, there is no how you can win that battle. And that is why we are getting the gains now in terms of fighting the terrorists, in terms of even decimating what is happening in the southeast. You know, because there was a time some people were saying, this person, the commander is from a particular area, and which is one of the things that even some people say when you move a commissioner of police to a particular region, they will say, they have brought somebody from another region. No, and I thank the government for that. They didn't listen to what other people were saying. Okay. You go there because Nigeria is one indivisible country. You go there, whether you are from anywhere, you go to another state. And your role is for you to serve. And that is why, based on that thing that Gowon did, the military has been united. And it has continued that way. That trajectory has continued. And it has to be like that. If not, there will be a problem.
Now, since talking about bringing it back to January 15, 1970, after the Biafra War, if we even look at the reason behind that war, you know, looking at, even till now, the Eastern region still says, they are marginalized here and there. Have we actually internalized the lessons behind that war? And if not, what should the government be doing, you know, to actually make Nigerians internalize?
Okay, first let me commend the military for its unity. What Asoko said earlier, if you remember the history of the military, we had what was called the Igbo coup. I mean, it was so called. And you had a revenge coup. Then there was also, you know, you had this Oka coup where an announcement was made that certain parts of the country were no longer part of Nigeria. Talking about the disunity we're talking about now. So you don't see that polarization anymore. At least you don't see it openly.
Yes.
It's possible that you may have a few persons. However, I'm not happy that if you go to the social media, you still have people who push narratives that, you know, tend to divide us.
Ethnic narratives.
Yes, ethnic narratives, you know. And I think that those who are opinion, this is not just the job of government. You know, government has a lot to do in uniting the country. The National Orientation Agency has a lot to do about uniting the country. Whether we like it or not, this country has different ethnic. It's a country of different nations.
Exactly.
That is the way it is now. Country of different nations, country of people practicing different religions also. It is how it is what it is. It is what you can talk about the fact that the British, you know, amalgamated Nigeria for their own administrative convenience. You are telling stories. But we have accepted to be together. So people need to be we need to carry out campaigns against certain narratives that we see on social media. Narratives that are capable of dividing the country.
Now, Asukwa, at the end of that war, they said no victor, no vanquished. But we're still talking about the Armed Forces Remembrance Day. Let's talk about unity and the desire of our founding fathers. They talked about a country united in justice, prosperity, and peace. How do we go back there?
It's like you want me to start a thesis on that. We are making baby steps, you know, we are making those steps. I know people always talk about corruption. Even back then there was corruption, you know, but it wasn't as open,
pronounced
as now, you know. In terms of, you know, looking at how we can go back to how it was back then, the government of today, because back then we had more of military rule. Even when we had the civilian rule, you know, we just had a little time for us to even enjoy ourselves and all that. But even at that, during the one's time that we wanted that unity, and then even during Shagari's time, we saw what we wanted. We just wanted, we wanted that democracy. Now we have that democracy. Since 1999 till date, we've been taking our time, looking at, okay, what are the things that our forefathers left behind that we are good and bad. But some people will always want to bring politics into trying to make sure that we don't go back to how it was in the past. Okay? So now that we have a new leader who is looking at, okay, fine, how do we start to look at ourselves inwardly to be united? If you notice, the present administration is always talking about our identity as being Nigerians first. Now, what makes you a Nigerian? The diversity amongst us makes us Nigerians.
Exactly.
Because, and he used to say something, and he says it virtually everywhere, that we are different brothers occupying different rooms. But we are all of the same family. That is what makes us Nigerian.
Though tribe and tongues may differ, in brotherhood we stand.
So for us to now go back, first we must begin to look at the oneness that is in our diversity.
Okay.
Then from there, we'll now begin to look at those other things that our forefathers did. Do you want to talk about the free education?
Okay.
Okay, by Awolowo then. I enjoyed free education during Awolowo's time. At least Jakondi was the governor then. You understand? So I work in Afo, and you understand? So I understand what free education was. The people in the north also enjoyed some semblance of education. In fact, those are the ones that are even enjoying now. Because those ones who were there back then, they sent their children out, and their children are the ones that are doing some things, good things now. So for us to now go back to this country, we must first identify ourselves as Nigerians. We must not begin to look at ourselves as being one particular ethnic group or the other.
Okay.
And that is why I keep saying, if you travel abroad, the first thing, once you see somebody, you speak pidgin to the person. That is the first thing. Oh boy, once the person answers you, you know this is a Nigerian. First, you are not talking whether it's Igbo or Yoruba or Hausa.
Okay. All right. Well, they say, honor the unknown soldier. You know, they died so that we may all live in peace. All right, let's move straight to our next conversation. In the face of scarcity of cash, it appears the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, is showing itself to be a dog that can back and bite in regulating monetary policies in the country. The CBN announced that it has imposed fines amounting to 1.35 billion naira on 9 deposit money banks over their failure to make Naira notes available through automated teller machines, ATMs, during the festive season. The CBN Acting Director of Corporate Communications, Hakama Sidi Ali, confirmed the developments and disclosed that the affected banks were fined 150 million naira each for non-compliance in line with the CBN's cash distribution guidelines following spot checks on their branches. The Apex Bank pointed out that the enforcement action followed repeated warnings from the CBN to financial institutions to guarantee seamless cash availability, particularly during periods of high demand. We'll come back to discuss this issue after the break. Don't go anywhere. Still Journalist Hangout.
And cable, great quality, now with the new look.
On this auspicious occasion of the Armed Forces Remembrance Day, we say happy posthumous birthday to our superhero, Major General Olubunmi Johnson Irefi. You are in our thoughts and hearts all the time. In your honor, we remember and celebrate your exemplary life today. Thank you for the selfless service to our nation. We celebrate the beautiful soul you wear and the cherished memories you share. Sleep on, our gallant general. You are greatly missed, loved, and never forgotten. Olariwaju.
And if you just joined us, it's still Journalist Hangout. I still have Asukwa James and Paul Dada. So let me start with you, Paul Dada. Looking at the CBN sanctioning banks, 150 million naira each, just because these banks did not dispense cash, most especially during the yield tide. But the question is this enough to guarantee seamless cash availability? Sanctioning these banks?
Well, it's a good way to start. And I think the CBN, if you read that statement, that was made, where the announcement was made that these 9 banks have been sanctioned, you know that the CBN is actually aware of lots of infractions going from lack of cash in the ATMs to currency hawking. Currency hawking. Imagine banks or bank officials giving money to people who hawk cash.
Which goes against Section 21 of the CBN Act of 2007.
Exactly. Also, there are some bank officials that are POS business people.
Exactly.
So, at the expense of putting cash in the ATMs, they do all of this. So it's a very good one. And I need to also say that it may not just be these 9 banks, because there are other banks. In fact, after this has been announced, I've seen people mention some other banks that are also guilty. During the youth tide season, a lot of people needed cash.
Exactly.
So they knew the challenges they faced. They knew the banks they went to where they don't get cash. So it's not just these 9 banks. The CBN must continue to not just to, I thank God that they don't only buy, they buy it. They must go to buy it. Apart from that, they have said that people should report. I mean, once they see any bank, if they see banks, committing infractions, and they say they will continue to also pay visits to banking halls and to see to monitor the level of compliance. So I think it's a very good thing. It's a very, very good thing. Cash must be made available to the people that need it. Banks must not be found to be committing those infractions. You know, there are actually regulations. In fact, there are regulations, there are laws that impose penalties, even on bank officials that are liable, bank officials that are complicit in committing these infractions. It's not just the banks. We must also go after individuals.
The bank staff?
Yes, the bank staff that are responsible for this.
But before we throw all of these banks, you know, under the bus, Asuko, should these deposit money banks be blamed? Some have said that deposits are not coming as they used to. Some will rather take their money, like some filling stations will, instead of taking it to the banks, they give it to POS operatives. So should these money banks be blamed for this cash scarcity?
Yes, so let me put it this way. For the CBN to have fined them,
yes,
it means CBN might have given them some certain amount of money for them to have you know, actually loaded into either their ATMs or also give it out. I, for one, I can't remember the last time I went to the ATM.
The same here, we are together.
Not because I maybe patronize POS operators, but because I just feel that I can easily send money wire to transfer, you understand, online.
I just hate to be disappointed.
You
getting
understand?
to the ATM,
you get to the ATM, you can't find it.
You know, I hate that disappointment.
So, but I'm also looking at, there are some banks that I feel that those banks are supposed to be part of this, just like Paul said.
So you know some banks that they should be there.
But they are not there. Maybe because they know, maybe anytime you go there, they have a limited amount they will just put. So that when CBN officials are coming, they will see people lining up and people are dispensing and getting. Maybe that is what those banks actually did, for them not to be in the list. You understand? Because there are some banks like that. And you cannot just call CBN and say, CBN, I went to one bank, XYZ bank, and I didn't see money. Because at the end of the day, they will also carry out their own investigation.
True.
You understand? So the thing is, banks, these banks, most of them, they have money. They have money. CBN would have given them money for them to load in their ATMs because they know that there will be shortage of cash during this the Yuletide season. Yes. You understand? So they would have given them cash for them to load in their ATM. But they just decided that, okay, fine, there's no point. Let's give it to the POS so that the POS can be making money for them.
For them. That's
just it. That's it. Because sometimes you go to the bank, they will tell you, hold on. They are waiting for somebody to... You understand? So someone to come and deposit, and then they will be rushing. I've gone to a bank in Abuja before. You know, I just wanted to just go there and see. I think I wanted to transfer. So something just told me, I think I even need small cash. And I said, okay, can you give me 50,000? They told me, no.
Maybe higher, maybe 20,000.
They said there's no 50,000. I said, why? They said they can't give me 50,000. Like the max they can give me is 10,000. 10,000 in Abuja.
But when you go to parties, you see this person.
Let me even shock you. I'm not even shocked you. So that 10,000, I now said, okay, are you going to give me maybe 500 or 1? They said no, it's 55 Naira. You know, they said 55 Naira. That's what they will give me. And I was like, then there's no point collecting the 10,000 because if you are going to give me bills of 55 Naira, how will I spend it? If I take Uber now, so I will now remove one bag, Ghana must go, and I now pay Uber driver. You know, so all these things. When you look at all these things, you begin to wonder, because since the previous CBN, governor, destroyed everything that redesigned and recolored our Naira, and then told people to bring, the old notes for them to change it. Everything about the banking sector destabilized. Everything. So people are always weary for them to even go to bank to deposit because they don't know. The government will just wake up and say, okay, we want to recolor the Naira again. You understand? So people are just being careful. I think that is where the National Orientation Agency has to come in, because there's a Supreme Court, judgment that says both the old and the new should run concurrently. So you can spend it, but back there in the village, most of them I'm not sure they've heard. So some people will prefer to just put their monies, they'll go to the market.
But let's talk about those who hawk Nigerian currency, they buy and sell it. I talked about Section 21 of the CBN Act of 2007, which prohibits buying and selling of the Naira. But why is the CBN not implementing its own laws?
But
we see this, we go to parties, we see them.
It's not even the CBN is not even the law enforcement agency. Now the law is there actually. The CBN has a role to play.
Exactly.
But we need also to report. People need to report. CBN won't be everywhere.
I mean, they give you 5 Naira.
CBN won't be everywhere. We have the EFCC. I think people should just be responsible. See, there are so many things going on. Apart from this one we are even mentioning, going on in the banking sector. What about illegal withdrawals? A friend of mine was just telling me yesterday that he just discovered that some withdrawals were just going on his account. He couldn't explain what those withdrawals were. So he went to that particular bank branch and he said, what is happening? Look at this transaction, I don't understand it. Even he said the person in the customer care said, I don't understand it. I don't understand. When you do a transaction, there will be this description. He couldn't understand it. The person also said, I don't understand it. Then I said, okay.
In the bank, they are saying they don't understand.
The bank said, I don't understand
your own money.
Then I said, give us 2 weeks to investigate. They froze their accounts. I just hope something good will come out of it. So we've had cases like this. We've had cases of bank staff withdrawing money from the accounts of people. So the CBN, the banks, the EFCC, Nigerians, all of us have to come together.
Yeah, I think Nigerians are the ones that will do the reporting.
Whistleblowing.
Yes, if not, people will keep hawking our currency.
And some POS operators are guilty of
any party that you go to, you still see them.
Exactly,
you see them, they'll just come and be showing you money. By the time you even hear the outrageous amount they're even quoting,
for charges,
you'll be asking, I'm in Nigeria, you want 20,000, somebody is selling you, you have to pay 25,000 to buy your own.
To buy your own 20,000.
But I feel that one way or the other, the EFCC or the CBN can send their monitoring team out there.
Asuko, after the fines, as of today, some ATMs are still not dispensing. What do you think should be the next step for the regulator? Should they add more fines? Should they bite harder? Or what?
No, the penalties are there. They just have
to fine them 150 million, but some ATMs are still not.
They just have to improve on their monitoring. And they have also called for reporting. See, they called for people to report. They can't be everywhere. You understand? Nigerians themselves, if you go somewhere, if you go somewhere today, you go to a bank today, you can't find cash. You can't find an ATM dispensing. You go there the next day, you can't find the same bank. It's not dispensing. You go to another branch of the same bank. Then you know that something is fishy, something is going on. Exactly. So you report.
But in the banks, there's something they call, I think they call them mystery shopper, where they used to monitor the activities of their staff. Some banks actually have this. But you see these ATMs, it's still not dispensing.
So the banks will not tell you the truth. So the best is for the CBN to continue to monitor these banks.
Should there be stiffer penalties? Maybe this 150 million, maybe make it 200 million or what?
You know the CBN is the one that is holding this cash for this.
Yes.
So this 150 million is
from the
source. Yes. Sure, you understand. So what CBN should do is, this is just going to serve as a deterrent to other banks. So what they will now do is they'll strengthen their process. Perhaps maybe they will say, okay, from every time you go there, maybe you'll be seeing, they'll be loading 50,000 in ATMs, making sure that at least when you go there, you'll be able to see. Banks are the ones that will now start looking at how ATMs will be loaded. There will be money there. Because if we continue to be giving fines, they will run out of business. So the best thing is let the CBN keep doing what it's doing presently. If it's 150 million, let them continue to pay the fine. You understand? Let them keep paying the fine. But the thing is, we do not want a situation where banks will be paying fines.
Another thing.
We don't want it. I want to go to the bank, carry my ATM, and withdraw.
Another thing. The banks must also know that they have a reputation to protect.
True.
So, the banks should watch out for those who are heading their branches. Because when you say, this bank is complicit, this bank is complicit, it's about the staff. It's about, it may not even be from the headquarters. It may not be, of course, it can't be a policy from the headquarters.
It's about the black legs in the bank.
Who is heading a particular branch?
Because if you are talking about the currency hawking, it's about somebody inside.
They themselves must learn to purge themselves of bad legs.
Just like how the EFCC is purging it.
That's what I'm saying.
The bank should purge.
Yeah, exactly.
This branch A, who is heading it? Branch A that a complaint was lodged against. Who are the people there? The bank itself must find out what is happening, and then rid itself of the bad eggs in that particular branch. So that, except we are saying, well, the bank itself is complicit. You know,
I also want to believe that for the now I want to go to currency. I want to believe that every cash, especially the mint, that goes out of the CBN, there's a destination. So, for instance, from the CBN, it's going to XYZ bank. They know that it's going to this bank. So, if, for instance, during their monitoring, they now got this particular cash, because it has numbers.
They have numbers,
this particular cash from somebody in Oshogbo, and the person is selling our currency in Oshogbo, so they
can trace it
back. So it's as simple as that. You know, so I want to believe that is the easiest way we can, identify.
Now, in all of this, Nigerians still have this hunger for cash. And yet we talk about cashless policy. How would you assess Nigeria's cashless policy? Are we getting better, or Nigeria's hunger for cash cannot just go?
No, we are getting better.
You think so?
Yes, we are getting better. You sure I just told you, and you too, it's been long you went to the ATM.
To the ATM,
to get cash.
But we still go to the POS.
Yes, because if you notice, most times, even small-scale businesses, they hardly do cash. You are selling something to somebody, you are selling online, all these online businesses. They'll tell you, please, transfer my money. Then once you get your goods, you transfer. You won't tell the dispatch person, please collect cash and bring. No.
But the story is not always the same in the rural areas, because of...
But at least, do you know that even in the rural areas, they are using POS? What they do is, they also say, POS, please, help me transfer so amount of money. I'm going to transfer to you. So it's gaining ground.
It's gaining ground.
At some point, Nigerians will begin to leave cash business. Even there was remember even when Chief Priest was arrested. Because of spraying of Naira. He went to a party. What did he do? He started doing like this and asking for account number. Asking for account number. So you understand? So at some point, even Owambe parties, people will be doing that. And by the time we get to that level, people will no longer be carrying cash anymore. And then CBN will not be finding banks 150 million for them because there will be a lot of cash for you to, in the ATM. So I know that Nigeria is getting there. We will be better.
We'll be better. Just in 1 minute, we need to move to
Nigerians are getting there, but some are getting there very slowly. You mentioned
very slowly.
There are people who still keep money somewhere.
Exactly.
Because one, the banks are far from them. There are so many rural areas. The banks are far from them and all of that.
There are so many rural areas that there are no banks there.
Exactly. We need to establish banking presence and encourage people to keep money in banks. And let's also encourage people to do
digital banking. All right, let's move straight to our next conversation. Power and influence might be changing hands in the oil sector. The Independent Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, said it has shifted loyalty to Dangote Petroleum Refinery as the depot price of premium motor spirits PMS, also known as petrol, rose by 4.7% from 907 to 950 Naira per litre last Friday. Confirming the shift, the Public Relations Officer of IPMAN, Chinedu Okadike, said members cannot continue to depend on depot owners to buy products, especially when they can buy directly from the refinery. The national president of IPMAN has advised members that the arrangement with Dangote is the best. The development is said to be driven by the high cost of crude oil, which rose to $80 per barrel this week from $73 per barrel last week. Asuko, marketers shifting to Dangote refinery because of the 4.7% increase in the price of the depot price. Is this enough to keep the price stable?
Now, the problem, I won't call it a problem because it's a plus for the government.
A plus for the government.
you know, but, and since that sector has been deregulated,
sure,
we'll keep having this fluctuation of prices. You know, when the crude oil was $73, that was when we begin, Dangote actually brought down the price, NNPC brought down, even the depot owners too, when those who were importing, also moved a little bit, you know, down, but not really down.
Yeah, we didn't really down, exactly. Maybe just a tiny bit.
A tiny bit, you understand? But at least we enjoyed Dangote, we enjoyed the NNPC.
Yes.
Now, for the government that is really looking for money, when the crude oil prices goes up, they are happy.
True. More oil revenue.
Because there will be more. Because don't forget, they are looking for money for them to fund the budget. So with $80, the government is already getting, they are already celebrating.
I think
but unfortunately, it is we the masses that will now be looking at the pump price anytime we are driving, because, and also be looking at what the consumers, the market, the people who are selling, will also be telling us by the time we go to the market. Because I know if you look at as at 2 weeks or 3 weeks, 2 weeks ago, even last week, you know, I bought petrol for 925 NNPC. The mobile was 950 last week. Now today, mobile has jumped to 970. You know, but NNPC, all of a sudden, most of their filling stations are even closed. You know, so I don't know why. So when they are closed like that, you know that there's something
is about to go.
Something is about to happen, and which is they too. They also want to adjust their prices. There is no subsidy, so let's just forget about it. If, for instance, there was subsidy now, NNPC will all be happy and saying, okay, let's wait. Maybe NNPC will either drop the prices and then we'll be happy, or maintain the current prices that they are, you know, selling now. But as it stands today, you know, Nigerians will just have to find a way to adjust themselves. They just moved it by 20 Naira from what I've seen so far from all the filling stations. AP is even selling, they are still selling, I think it's old stock. AP is still selling at 945, meaning it's old stock. MRS, which happens to be the retail side of Dangote, they are still selling at 935. So I still feel it's the old stock. So for IPMAN to say they are going to Dangote refinery, they understand that, okay, fine. If we go to Dangote, you know, Dangote will be selling for them maybe at 907. I think 907. You know, before it used to be 899. 99. So at 907, they'll be able to adjust their price a little. You know, so we'll be having this fluctuation, but I don't know if the government will be happy when the crude oil price comes down. You understand? Because they are the ones that need the cash.
Exactly.
You know, but we need the petrol price to come down. Because somebody was saying, the petrol price will be 500 Naira. When the person said that, I was like, 500. How?
Where are you getting your news from?
You understand? So we are just hopeful. We are just looking at how things will pan out. But Nigerians should just know that we'll keep going up and down over this matter.
Exactly, the market forces. But talk to me. What will this? What impact will this decision by Ipman have on price stability and petrol supply?
Two things I want to say here. Number one, it's not entirely a bad thing that the price of food has gone up and it's affecting the price of the pump price. As things stand now, Nigerians now have options. It gives Nigeria options. Because Ipman is saying, look, we will go to Dangote directly. The depot owners will charge because of their own cost, because they are importing, you understand? And since they are importing, it's going to affect what they will give it to, the amount they will give it to.
All the other charges.
So the marketer says, why do we have to go to the depot when we can get directly?
So there's a matter of choice.
Yes, of course.
Good thing also for government, because government is making more revenue. Now, but making the revenue for what? Now, to impact on the citizens.
Okay.
Now, if we cannot, I've always said this, the argument about whether subsidy should go, that one is no longer, there's no more argument. Just subsidy gone.
It's gone.
That one is no longer, it's not something for us to start talking about. Can we please subsidize transportation? People will know, there is no way people will buy petrol at 500 naira. Like somebody was saying.
Don't forget, it can't happen.
Maybe when you have more competition, maybe you have more refineries, it may drive down the price a bit. But can we subsidize transportation? They say government can come in.
Yeah, we talked about that yesterday.
Exactly.
We talked about it yesterday.
There are certain things government can. From the money you are making from increased revenue, you can do certain things to make life better, much better for the citizens. You can subsidize transportation. Food supply. Make food available. Boost local production of food. I know that there are, plans along this side, but want to see them happen very soon. Boost local production of food. There was a time that, I remember a time that Kebbi and Lagos State combined to produce what they call lake rice. States can collaborate. I've always said something. Our eyes are always on the federal government. When something goes bad, everybody, Tinubu.
But we're not talking about
we should hold Tinubu, we should hold the president responsible. That's a fact. There's no doubt about it. But even the best president, you may not feel his impact the way you expect. If the subnationals
does not assist.
Look, go and bring the person from anywhere. Go and bring the person from anywhere. If the subnationals are not living up to their responsibility, complementing the effort of the president, of the federal government, we are going to be complaining. Even the grassroots level. How many people even know the name of
the local government chairman?
No. Everybody knows.
Everybody knows Tinubu. Everybody knows governor. Who knows? People don't know the name of the local government. Let alone the council. They don't even know. No. So what we are trying to say is that, yes, subsidy is gone. Market forces will determine the prices of fuel products, and government will make more money when the price of crude goes up. That money, the citizens must feel the impact.
The citizens must feel the impact. But this decision by Ipman, do you think it will engender, some sort of competitiveness?
That is already happening.
It's happening.
It's happening. I don't know what the depot owners will now do now. To probably attract some of the marketers back. They may have to do something, because if they are not going there to lift the fuel, so what is it for?
No,
they're not going to be you just admire. It's not to admire, it's not to hoard it. What are they hoarding it for? What is the use? They are business owners, they are in business. So maybe they will have a way of adjusting. I expect it to have certain impact you know, in that aspect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, on a final note, he has talked about the impact on Nigerians. The increase in oil revenue, on the other hand, what impact will it have on Nigerian, the consumers? What impact?
Yeah, well, for now, I'm not sure Nigerians, when I mean Nigerian people, the market women, the transport people, owners, have really felt the 20 Naira increase.
Yes.
You understand? So we've not seen, I'm not sure it's going to impact negatively.
Okay, negatively.
Maybe because they just feel that, okay, it's just 20 Naira.
Yes.
You know? But it will be very, very unfair. It will be very unfair for market women, those who are selling, and even transport owners to just increase.
To just arbitrarily increase. Oh, they've heard that they're increasing fuel.
You understand this? Just increase. It will be very unfair.
But if they are buying fuel at a higher price,
that's what I'm saying. It's for them to just do it arbitrarily. It's not.
They still have old stock, but they are increasing.
Exactly. So, 20 Naira. I think people should just be
all right, then.
Calm down over this matter. And don't forget, you were saying something about transportation. Very key. What the CNG? How far?
Exactly.
How far?
Electric vehicles.
I was going to talk about that, but I actually forgot.
The CNG.
Yes.
You know, so the government has to start pushing the CNG buses, or
it's like they're not even talking about.
They're not talking about
more.
Like,
you know,
like
there was
before.
a time everybody was CNG.
You know? But anyway, gentlemen, it's a fine time for us to. It's a fine place for us to leave it. Paul Dada, appreciate you as always. Thank you so much for coming. I think this is the first time of coming.
Of this year.
Yeah, this year too. I'm sure you like the.
Welcome to our new home.
Welcome to our new home.
This is a very good.
Thank you so much for having this conversation on Journalist Hangout. Asuko James.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate you as always. Appreciate you. And that's it on Journalist Hangouts today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can watch the repeat broadcast of this episode tonight at 11. Join us on Sunday from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. for Journalist Hangout on Sunday. We are on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I am Benga Oreshegun. Bye for now, and God bless Nigeria.
We were warned about this marriage. Because we did not listen, a young maiden is dead.
Nana, come here. Hi. Why do you speak so freely with a stranger from Ajan?
We were just talking about offering Ujigijag a seat on the council.
The gods be praised. He has 2 wives. So why are you making it look like it is a big deal?
The following is a paid presentation by ShopX TV. At ShopX TV, our customers are the heart of everything we do. As a special thank you for your continued support, we are offering our customers 10% off on selected products from now till November 15th. That's right, shop now and save big on some of your favorite items while stock lasts. Don't miss out on this opportunity to grab amazing products at unbelievable prices. First is our amazing 4-in-1 CookX blender. It's a food processor, a grinder, a blender, and a juicer all in one. The CookX 4-in-1 blender comes with 3 versatile cup sizes, each crafted to handle special tasks perfectly. Imagine effortlessly whipping up smoothies that are truly smooth, pounded yam and soups that are flawlessly pounded and blended. You would normally pay 189,950 Naira for the CookX 4-in-1 blender, but call the number on your screen right now or scan the QR code and get it for just 170,995 Naira. Incredible! And that's not all. You can get the CookX 4-in-1 blender in 2 easy payments of 85,498 Naira. That's right, pay twice to get this amazing cooking solution. And we are not done yet. ShopX TV is proud to introduce the ShopX Ultimate Crunch Exercise Machine. The 6-in-1 machine is designed to take your fitness to the next level. No need to worry about expensive gym fees. You can now work out from the comfort of your home and achieve results. With Ultimate Crunch cutting-edge technology, you can transform your body. Its enhanced features deliver a full body workout that's efficient, effective, and enjoyable. The secret is its advanced design that combines multiple exercise models into one unit. The versatile machine features adjustable resistance levels, an ergonomic design, and a built-in digital tracking system that displays speed, time, distance, and calories burned. From sculpting your abs to toning your legs, upper body, and strengthening your core, you would normally pay up to 449,950 Naira for the ShopX Ultimate Crunch. But for a limited time only, call the number on your screen now or scan the QR code and get the ShopX Ultimate Crunch at 404,955 Naira. Incredible! And that's not all. You can get the ShopX Ultimate Total Crunch in 2 easy payments of 202,478 Naira. That's right, pay twice to get this amazing fitness solution. But hurry, limited stocks available. So call the number on your screen now or scan the QR code or visit our website to place your order while stock lasts. The proceeding was a paid presentation brought to you by ShopX TV.
At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Happy New Year, everyone!
May this new year bring you joy.
Here's to a fresh start, everyone. May this year bring you love, laughter, and happiness.
Happy New Year!
Wishing you a year of growth and success.
Happy New Year!
A new year, a new start, way to go. Just as sports is exciting to fans, may the new year excite you all.
Wishing you a memorable and joyful New Year.
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!
Yes, wishing you a year of growth and success.
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!
Here's wishing you a profitable New Year.
Cheers to an open fresh year 2025.
Happy New Year once again. I wish you well.
Live from our studio here in Lagos, this is Beyond 100 Days with Nifemio Guntoye. On the program today, we celebrate the sacrifices of our military personnel, both serving and fallen heroes who have laid down their lives in defense of our nation as the country marks Armed Forces Remembrance Day. We want to take a moment to acknowledge and honor the brave men and women of the Nigerian Armed Forces. It's also a good time to specifically remember the 6 Nigerian soldiers who lost their lives just a few days ago on January 4th in the Damboa incident where they repelled and killed 34 terrorists in Sabongeri. Their bravery and selflessness will never be forgotten. To our soldiers past, present, we say thank you. Your sacrifice in defending our nation, upholding our democracy, as well as protecting our people will forever be honored and remembered. Joining me on the show today is our former Director, Army Public Relations, and also a counter-terrorism expert, live from Lagos. The spokesperson of the former spokesperson of the Nigerian military is joining us from our Abuja studio. Shortly, we'll be talking about updates in our special Armed Forces Remembrance episode. You too can join the conversation right now on X. Remember to use the hashtag Beyond 100 Days, tag at TVC News NG, and at Nifemi Oguntoye. Let's begin with reports from Abu Dhabi, where President Bola Tinubu has reaffirmed Nigeria's commitment to fostering global collaboration in building a resilient, equitable and sustainable future. The president spoke at the 2025 Abu Dhabi Sustainability Week in the United Arab Emirates, emphasizing the importance of collective action in addressing climate change as well as advancing sustainable development. And now to our main conversation. Every 15th of January is Armed Forces Remembrance Day, and it's to commemorate the servicemen of the Nigerian Armed Forces. It also honors veterans of the World War I and II, as well as the Nigerian Civil War. Here in Nigeria, at the nation's capital, we saw Vice President Kashim Shettima leading the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, members of the Federal Executive Council, National Assembly, service chiefs, diplomatic corps, to honor the nation's fallen and living heroes. The Vice President represented President Bola Tinubu, who is in Abu Dhabi, attended the Sustainability Summit. First to lay the wreath is the Vice President himself, followed by the President of the Senate, Speaker, House of Representatives Tajuddin Abbas, represented by the Deputy Speaker Benjamin Kalu, and Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Kudirat Kekereekun. Others include Minister of Defense Mohammed Badaru, his Federal Capital Territory counterpart, Iyesom Wike, as well as the Minister of State for Defense, Bello Matawale, amongst others. Let's talk about the importance of today, marking Armed Forces Remembrance Day, and also what it means for the sacrifices of military personnel, both serving and those who have left. I'm joined by former Director of Public Relations, Nigerian Army, Brigadier General Sani Usman, and also joining us from here, Lagos, is Olatunbosun Abolarinwa, who is counter-terrorism expert. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us on the program this evening. Let's begin from Abuja, where the Brigadier General is standing by. Do you think there's a sense to which we have come to understand and really appreciate as a nation the role of the armed forces in not only protecting our sovereignty as a nation, but also upholding democratic rule in the past 25 years, considering what we've seen happen in West African countries during this period? Brigadier General, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, I was asking if you think that we have come to terms to appreciate precisely what the armed forces have done, not only in protecting our sovereignty as a nation, but in keeping our democratic rule alive for over 25 years, considering what we've seen play out in other neighboring West African countries during this period.
Well, thank you very much for having me on your program, and thank you for the encomiums of appreciating, the armed forces, especially today being the grand finale of the Armed Forces Remembrance Day celebration for the year 2025. We really appreciate your kind words and everything and support. Beyond that, whether we have come to terms in respect of the roles the armed forces have been performing, apart from the defense of the territorial integrity, but also upholding the democratic tenets, I think the onus is on the Nigerian society. But so far, so good, in the sense that people were pessimistic in those days, but now this is almost more than 25 years, so to speak, of uninterrupted democratic tenets, and successive service chiefs, right from the Chief of Defense Staff and the various service chiefs, they have reiterated their loyalty and determination to defend and sustain democratic governance in this country. Despite the distractions, remember, we have had instances of distractions, people because of, the passive hardship and all the rest, calling on military and all the rest. The military remain resolute and determined to ensure that Nigeria remain a democratic country. So I think it is no question of coming to term, but I think we have to give credit and kudos. And remember, just recently, the Chief of Defense Staff, when he went to Qatar some time ago, he reiterated that. And the thing is that whoever is thinking that the military having a double thought about democracy, I think that person will need his head examined. We are so that the military is so determined to ensure that Nigeria remain a democratic society. So I think it's a question of commending the military for remaining resolute and determined to ensure that Nigeria remain a democratic society. And beyond that, the sacrifices they have been making over the years. Look at the security challenges, and you have just mentioned Damboa and some other places. And any time we look back, we look at the sacrifices, especially those of us that were privileged to serve in the armed forces. You look back, you look at the friends that you have lost, the colleagues you have lost, and the families they are left behind. But that will not make you to despair. Rather, you feel happy and proud that yes, actually their death or the sacrifices will not be in vain. So this is it. So it's a question of commending the military for such, determination.
Indeed. Absolutely. Let me bring Mr. Bolariwa into this conversation. Over the years, we have spoken about military funding, which continues to take the largest chunk of our yearly spending. But on a day like this, we still talk about inadequate funding, insufficient equipment, welfare concerns in the military. I'm wondering how you marry these two realities. What do you think are the underlying factors contributing to this disconnect, and how can we ensure military funding is better optimized to address what really the genuine needs are for the armed forces?
To answer that question without first appreciating the heroes, both fallen and living, who have been keeping our territorial integrity safe. The military has never been so stretched and challenged like what we have seen in the last 10 years. A lot of lives have been lost. A lot of their children have been made fatherless because they are serving their country. And I want to really appreciate them and pray that God will not make their sacrifices go in vain. Talking about funding and equipment for the military is something that we cannot overemphasize. In some other climes, because nobody knows the level of security threats that is coming to their nation, the security hemisphere or the security community have what we refer to our nickname blank check. You see, we cannot put a cost on what the military needs when everything is okay. Not to talk of when almost 4 out of the 6 regions in Nigeria are facing one security challenges or the other, and the military are being stretched. So the government needs to do more for the military, and they can never do enough. I must say that to you, they must be kept safe. One of the aspects of the funding the military or providing for the military that I really want to mention as well is that I read recently the plan of the current government, federal government, to upgrade the living standard and the packages for senior military officers. I read that note and it was fantastic. But I also want to plead on behalf of all the low cadre and junior ranking officers that the government should please take a look at their sites too. They are the foot soldiers. They are the one that actually goes there. I live almost opposite the military cemetery. And one of the cries that wakes me up or that keeps me to send me to sleep every day is when military men are being buried. So I sleep and wake up with this reality every day that some people are paying the ultimate price for this. For those who are alive and are still working, government should please do more to make sure that they are well funded and they are well equipped to carry out these jobs.
And that's a big issue. I like that you brought that up. Brigadier General, many ex-service members still find themselves grappling with limited opportunities after serving the motherland when it comes to